Okay, so good morning to everyone. I'm very happy to be back again in Italy. We have 2 days of teaching and the initiation schedule for 2 days. So out of which the teaching topic here is the 8 verses of the mind training by the great master Gesche Langri Thangpa. And so we will go through this particular teaching. And if we have time, then the 8 dharmas of Gampopa. If not, then maybe next time. Because, I somehow thought the 4 dharmas of Gampopa. But I think because I have been asked to teach this topic few times from here, but somehow never managed to do that. So I think that has been, that's why I got a little confused. So this time is the 8 verses of the mind training. If we have time for the 4 dharmas of Gampopa, then we go through that. If not, then next time. Then with the initiation of Guru Rinpoche and Zambala. So I think that makes for the 2 days. And so it is very important to receive the teachings, because Dharma teachings, when I say Dharma teaching, it means the path to the realization of the absolute truth. So the absolute truth of oneself and everything around oneself. As long as one is ignorant of the state of things within oneself and around oneself, then one is not able to perform to the full efficiency of oneself. And that way, then confusions arise. And in that confusion, then what we desire, we are not able to achieve. And what we don't wish for, somehow we experience such things. So when I say that, the most common aspect in all beings, whether you are humans, whether you are animals, whether you are some, beings from some other planet, doesn't matter, or of what size, doesn't matter. We all have one common, most common, and that is we wish to be happy. And we wish to be free from suffering. That is the most common in all of us. Besides that, of course, we have our differences in many things. But this is the oneness of all beings. We wish to be happy, so we need to know how to create the cause and conditions for happiness. We wish to be free from suffering, so we need to know how to avoid the cause and conditions for suffering. So that is very important. If we don't know how to create the cause and conditions for happiness, even if we wish for happiness, it is difficult to get happiness. If we wish to be free from suffering, but don't know how to create the cause and conditions, or if we don't know how to avoid the cause and conditions which create suffering, then it is difficult to be free from suffering. So therefore, knowing the causes of happiness, the creating the conditions for happiness, knowing the causes of suffering, avoiding the conditions of suffering, so that is very, very important. So in this aspect, then Buddha Shakyamuni, over 2,500 to 600 years back, attained the absolute realization, which means realized the absolute truth of his very nature and the nature of everything around, so that we call enlightenment. And after attaining the enlightenment, then he put forth the path to how to attain that realization, how to be free from that ignorance which create the confusion, which create the cause and conditions of suffering which we don't wish to experience, and the path to developing the cause and conditions which create happiness, which we so wish to have. So that is the Dharma, so the path, the Dharma. So Buddha Shakyamuni himself said, that I can show you the path to this realization. But whether one wishes to be, realized or not is up to you. Whether you wish to follow the path is up to you. So if you follow that path that he put forth, through which he attained the total realization, then you can also achieve the exact result that he achieved. So it is totally up to you, which means he cannot pick you up and put you somewhere else. He cannot put you up there or he cannot put you down there. So it is totally up to ourselves whether we wish to be free from ignorance or whether we wish to continue in this confusion. So it is totally in our hand. This also shows to us a very important fact, that the freedom that we so much desire for is totally in our hand. It is within ourselves. It is not dependent on some external factor. So we are not dependent on somebody else. So we are the master of ourselves. If we wish to be free from suffering, we have that ability. We have that freedom. So we are totally in control of the situation. But how to be in control, that is, of course, another thing. So we need to recognize the cause and conditions of happiness and the cause and conditions of suffering and work on that. So that is the path, so the path. But the ability, the freedom, that is in our hand. That nobody can take from us. So this is very important, so it shows that we have that freedom, we have that ability, we have that quality. If we don't have that, then very difficult. No matter how much we work, then if it is dependent on some external factor, then very difficult, not much hope. But that is not the case here. We have full freedom, we have full quality, ability, so full of hope. I shouldn't say hope. Hope is not, it is hoping, It is not hope. We have full freedom. So that path that Buddha Shakyamuni, showed us, the teaching through which we can, develop the wisdom, we can eradicate the confusion, the ignorance. So that is the path, and that is called the Dharma. It's a path, the Dharma. Dharma is the path to realize the absolute truth. That is, so that is the Dharma. So how can we benefit after the Dharma? Then the first step is we need to receive the Dharma, which means we need to listen to the Dharma, get the Dharma, or to understand what is freedom, to understand how to achieve that freedom. What is the nature of everything? What is ignorance? What is the reality? So like that. So how things appear, and what is the what is the reality of things? So all that. So to understand this, the wisdom, to develop wisdom. So that is the Dharma. So first we need to listen to the Dharma. In order to contemplate, first we have to receive the Dharma, listen to the Dharma. And through listening to the Dharma, then we understand what is the cause and conditions of happiness, what is the cause and conditions of suffering. And as we know, our wish is to, have happiness. Our wish is to be free from suffering. So we will want to adopt the cause and conditions of happiness. We will want to abandon the cause and conditions of suffering. So this way then we will know how to develop the cause and conditions of happiness. We will know how to avoid the cause and conditions of suffering. And then through this, when you totally eradicate the cause and conditions of suffering, then, and go beyond happiness and suffering, then that is the complete enlightenment. So enlightenment is beyond suffering or happiness. So when you reach that state, then that is enlightenment. Because as long as there's limitations of suffering, then there is happiness. As long as there's limitations of happiness, there's suffering. So it is duality, it's limitations. So when you go total beyond that, then that is enlightenment. So that is why then the Buddha taught, that so as a practitioner, as someone who is on the path of this Dharma, then you listen to the Dharma, contemplate on the Dharma, and question the Dharma. Question, examine, very important, because we have that intelligence. And the more we question, the more we examine, the clearer we will become. And that is how then we develop wisdom. So no blind following. No saying, you say this, so I just do this. Not like that. But you question and see, how it works, why it is like this, why it is like that. So we have the freedom to question. We have the freedom to grow. So saying this, Buddha Shakyamuni attained that total, absolute realization, absolute freedom from all limitations, confusion, freedom from suffering. So with that confidence, he put forth the Dharma. With confidence, he said that. So I think he is the only teacher who says, you question my teaching, you examine my teaching. Don't take my teaching as, as I say it, by examine it, like how gold, the gold when it is raw material is not, yellow, shiny like that, So the more you rub, the more you burn, the more you do all that, then the gold become, more shinier, more, gold, it manifests, it becomes more beautiful. Because the gold, the quality of the gold is, beautiful as gold, golden, shiny, all that. So the more you beat it, the more you rub it, the more you pound it, it becomes better and better, so like that. So Buddha have that confidence, that no matter how much you beat it with question, with examination, with all that, the more clearer it becomes. Because that is the truth, that is the absolute truth. So the absolute truth, you get closer to that. The closer you get to the absolute truth, the more wisdom arises, the more clearer becomes, the closer you become to your absolute nature. So that way, very important to examine this way. So it doesn't mean, there is some limitations that you need to examine, but on the other hand, it is like the gold. The more examine, the better it becomes. So normally, so Buddha said that the true happiness is within ourselves, because our quality, our nature is perfect, is loving, is kindness, is beautiful, it's Buddha. So that is our very essence, our very nature. So if we can connect with this, nature, this true self, then we can really develop happiness. We can really be happy. Normally, we are always searching for happiness somewhere out there. Also with suffering, we are always blaming something out there. Never look within oneself, but always look for the answer outside of oneself. For your happiness, we try to look for something outside there to give us happiness. For suffering, we blame something out there which create this suffering for us. So always, looking outside. But the actual happiness is within ourselves, in ourselves. So, for example, no matter how much external resources we have, how much, like fame, power, money, or anything one can imagine that we normally associate externally for our well-being. So normally, how much ever we can think of, it has its limitations. And after a certain time period, that changes. And it becomes, most of the time, the source for your next suffering. Even science nowadays is saying, that such, the external factors only, last very short period of time. Maximum it lasts is for, I think long time back they say 2 months, but now even shorter than a month they say, the period of happiness. For example, if you win a lottery, you get suddenly a lot of money, it gives you for a short period of time, happiness. But that happiness, the span of that happiness given by that, external source of, winning the lottery, the money, is not really sustainable. It is subject to change. And even science is saying that now. But if we can truly connect with these inner qualities, the true self, as I said, the compassionate, the loving, the kind, the beautiful, the wisdom, the awareness, these qualities of oneself, these are the true self. If one can connect with that, then it can really give us a sustainable state of happiness. And simple methods like meditation on the breath, meditation on an object, just connecting with the inner qualities of awareness, mindfulness, loving kindness, compassion, wisdom. Just by connecting with these qualities, the true self, it can really make us happy, a sustainable happiness. So simple things like meditating on the breath is so effective. Through this, we are connecting in a deeper level, not the superficial level, but in the deeper level. So, how many of you have done the breathing, meditation? How many of you have done before? So everybody. Yeah. Okay. So maybe we can do, breathing shamatha meditation, together. So by doing the shamatha, meditation on the breath, how can we connect with our self, this true self, with our innate qualities? When we are doing the breath shamatha meditation, then we rely on the breath. We just watch the breath and not examining the breath, but just watching the breath as it is. We no need to examine or in changing the breath or anything like that, but letting the breath be as it is. The breath going out, the breath coming in, however it is, just watching it as it is, without changing anything. And that is wisdom. Wisdom is letting things be as it is. And when everything is as it is, that is the wisdom. Confusion is we always trying to change things, with perspectives. And in that we are confused and we are lost. We create, so that is perception, concept. And this concept, then we become limited. But if we let things be as it is, everything is perfect at all times. So that is wisdom. So letting the breath be as it is, we are, the wisdom, connecting with the wisdom. And where there is wisdom, it is opposite of ignorance, isn't it? Wisdom is opposite of ignorance. So through this wisdom, then gradually, as we go deeper and deeper, our ignorance is, purified. The ignorance transformed to wisdom. Then when we are, mindful on the breath, thoughts arise, we don't have to block thoughts. Thoughts will come, no need to block thoughts. No need to create thoughts. We just, remain with the breath as it is. So no matter lots of thoughts, fine. No thoughts, fine. No matter whatever it is, we are not, being affected by the thoughts or no thoughts. We just maintain, with the breath. We remain with the breath as it is. So thoughts, no thoughts, we are okay with it. No, no blocking of thought. No, So we say, no need to, no aversion with thought, no attachment to certain conditions, being okay with whatever the situation may be. So that is loving kindness, compassion. Because loving kindness, compassion with self, being okay with whatever it is, loving kindness, compassion, then gradually to all through this. So everything developed from self to others gradually. So deeper and deeper then becomes, to all. So we are connecting with this loving kindness, compassion, our very essence, the, true self. So this way, then where there is love, compassion, then there is no space for, aversion, hatred. So it is opposite of that. And so gradually through connecting with our loving kindness, compassion, then go deeper and deeper and deeper, then gradually aversion towards oneself, aversion towards others, gradually transform to loving kindness, compassion. Then the breath, you are not lost. Always maintaining mindfulness, awareness on the breath going in and out. So always maintaining the awareness. So that is connecting with awareness, your true self, the quality of awareness, mindfulness or awareness. So always with that. So that is awareness. And when you are with awareness, then that is through awareness, then we are not lost in the craving. So craving for, things like when you, attachment, or even things you don't like, craving to not, against something, or craving towards something. So gradually that craving transforms to, awareness, the wisdom awareness. So the source of all confusion, suffering is ignorance. Through ignorance arise then craving, aversion, and that further can be, divided into then ego, pride, jealousy, etc. So all these create confusion. which is suffering, the cause and conditions of the suffering, and we experience suffering. So, just by a simple, meditation like on breath, then we connect with our inner qualities, the true self, the qualities of loving kindness, compassion, the qualities of awareness, qualities of wisdom, and through that, then gradually transform all this confusion of aversion, craving, ignorance into loving kindness, compassion, awareness, wisdom, which is the true self. So, like that, gradually, then true happiness arise. Sustainable happiness will arise from within oneself. So that is how we can truly be free from suffering and truly have a lasting, sustainable happiness. So let us do a short meditation on the breath. So first we just relax, sit for a while. And normally we say, we try to maintain a straight back, our spine should be straight, because this is connected to, the spine is the channel connected to ignorance. So as we see, ignorance is the base to all other confusion. So when we keep our spine straight, then automatically the ignorance is subdued to a certain level. And for example, when you feel lazy, dull, not clear, then you are slouching. Your body is also like this. But when you keep straight up, you are fresh, you are aware, you are bright. So like that. Even physically, when you do that, you can feel. So that is why when we meditate, then keeping the back straight is important. But of course, depend, if one has some physical problem or born with certain shape back, then that is a different case, so that is different. Otherwise, then we try to meditate like this, with a straight back. So our spine, back should be straight, but our body should be relaxed. All the muscles in the body, everything should be relaxed, not stiff. Balance is important, so muscles to be relaxed. And how to do this? One can do through, with awareness on the body, then the sensation, like we have gravity, the weight of the body, the gravity of the body. So we maintain, be aware of this gravity, the weight of the body, and then that will help us to rest in that. So rest in that. And just, so we can take a deep breath in, and as we breathe out, then let go of everything and just rest in that weight of the body. Just be with that as it is. There's a saying, your body rests on the cushion. So the weight of the body is on the cushion. So your body rests on the cushion and your mind rests in the body. So when your body is relaxed, then the mind will relax also, because the mind and body is connected. So this way, then you just rest for a while. Okay. Now we just rest for a while. Take a deep breath in. As we breathe out, let go of everything. Feel the weight of the body and rest with that as it is. Completely relax the entire muscles, the joints, everything. Okay. Now maintaining this state of very relaxed, then you gradually bring your awareness to your breath. And watch the breath going in and out. As you breathe, the breath coming in, then going out. Just be with that breath as it is, aware of the breath. All of you have been doing this, so you are familiar with this. If not, if you're new, then with your hand also you can do gesture, breath coming in, breath going out. So that is one count. Then again, breath coming in, going out, second count. So like this, we do maybe 10 counts of the breath and connecting with our inner qualities of the awareness, loving kindness, compassion, wisdom. Here, very important is to count the breath, okay? The breath going out and in, one count, out and in, two count. So counting is very important. So that is awareness, you are not lost. Okay, now no need to count the breath anymore. Just relax in this state of calm abiding for a while. Okay. So, now how do you feel? How many of you able to do, how many of you able to do the meditation well? How many of you feel very, connect with your inner qualities, feel very nice, peace, how many of you feel you like the meditation? Okay. So that is very good. So you can see. And how many of you feel not very good? Not very good meditation. Okay. So so those of you, actually who feel, didn't feel too good, it is okay, but actually if you look at the deeper level or the deeper, then when you feel, you didn't do very well or didn't feel very good, that is actually compassion. Why? Because compassion is, the wish to be free from suffering, and that is compassion, and of course, and the causes of suffering. So when you feel you didn't do well, means you want to do well. You want to do a good meditation, but not able to do that. So you feel, that you didn't do well, wanting to be, so that is compassion. So the deeper level is compassion. So your inner quality, compassion already there, so you just need to recognize that and then be with that. And those of you who felt, you did well, your meditation was good, happy, that is loving kindness. Because loving kindness is the happiness, the wish to be happy, and the cause and conditions for happiness. So that is loving kindness. So loving kindness, if you look at the deeper level, it is loving kindness. So your quality of loving kindness already there. So you are connecting with that. So you recognize that and be with that. So loving kindness, compassion also there. So the loving kindness, compassion, these qualities already there. These are our true self, true qualities. But because of, always looking at the surface level, superficial level, we mistake these qualities with, as I said, with aversion, with craving, with ignorance, ego pride, jealousy, so mistake these inner, true qualities with these, and then become confusion. So very important to connect with the deeper level and recognize them and be with them. And gradually through that, the more and more we are able to do that, then we say, the mind has the quality of self-luminosity, so that is the quality. So like light, light doesn't need another source to illuminate the light. The light itself has the ability to illuminate. So this way, so our, the mind has this quality. So gradually through connecting with these qualities, then it by itself will transform. So but we need to again and again practice. Do even if just for short period of time. Like 1 minute, 2 minutes every day, very important. Again and again, we build up again and again. So meditation means gom. Gom means to, to develop the, how to say, familiarizing. To familiarize, very important. This is very important because everything, right? Like exercise. You need to exercise maybe half an hour, 1 hour every day so that you can become healthy. You cannot do maybe 12 hours of very intensive exercise one day and then don't do for next, 1 month. And then again suddenly you feel like doing exercise, do for, half an hour of, no, not half an hour, maybe, say 6 hours of, no rest, and then again leave for like, another few months or half a year. Cannot, it will damage, your body, it will not function, it will not have, that is not how you do, isn't it? So even exercise, you do every day, little, build up gradually, then your body becomes, healthy. So same way here, meditation, not when you feel like in mood, do for like 2 hours, 3 hours, you can do, and then suddenly don't do for, for another 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, wait for that right moment, so not like that, so you have to do even for few, even 1 minute, half a minute, even 10 count of breath, which doesn't even take 1 minute, So if you can do like this every day, little, then it is really, very effective, very beneficial. Yeah. So some may be thinking, when are we getting down to the 8 verses of mind training? But we are already in the 8 verses of mind training because I'm talking about the, the nature of mind and all this, so this is the mind, so we are already in, okay? So if you feel impatient, when is this really subject going to start? It's already started 1.5 hours back. Okay. Not only started, but we did a practice on that also. Yeah. So everything connected like this, So everything. Our day-to-day life, have to be, merged with practice, with the teachings, Teachings, practice is not separate from our day-to-day life. Our day-to-day life is not separate from the teaching, So everything is together, So we have to do everything together. So we are breathing all the time, right? So from time to time, be aware of our breath. Let the breath be as it is, and connect through that with our innate true self. The loving kindness, compassion, awareness, wisdom. So that is how we practice, day to day. Practice is all the time, So we can practice this way 24/7. Practice is not something separate from your day-to-day life. Your day-to-day life is not separate from practice. It is one. Loving kindness, compassion is not separate from you. You are not separate from loving kindness, compassion. Loving kindness, compassion is you. You are loving kindness, compassion. So we need to recognize that, and if we recognize that, then we can be with that. And if we be with that, then gradually, deeper and deeper, then that when you completely become that, then that is enlightenment. Limitless loving kindness, compassion, limitless wisdom, limitless awareness, limitless, so this is enlightenment. That is the complete, full realization, the absolute nature. So that is enlightenment. That is beyond duality, beyond concept. That is called emptiness, emptiness. So emptiness doesn't mean nothingness, okay? Emptiness doesn't mean nothing. It means limitless, beyond like this or like that, beyond one and two, so beyond, something or nothing, so it is beyond all of that. So emptiness equal to everythingness, not nothing. Many people have this misunderstanding. They think emptiness means nothing. You have to disappear, everything have to disappear, not like that. So emptiness means, the nature of everything is emptiness, yet it can manifest as it is. So being, not being doesn't have to contradict each other. That is emptiness. But in order to realize that, and then, first step by step. So relative, one doing, like say, loving kindness, compassion practice here for somebody there, the action of loving kindness, compassion, so that is important. We have to start this way. As long as there's I here who wish to be happy, then there's somebody there who wish to be happy too. And there's something to be happy. So that is duality. So we have to work with this. So this is, so that way, and then to develop this, then the intention, the motivation, very, very important. Intention or the motivation is like, it is the starting point. In order for you to come here to receive the teaching, first is the intention, the motivation to wanting to go to this place to listen to the teaching, so that you can, receive whatever you wish to, benefit in however way you wanted to. So the intention, the motivation. So that is very important. If you didn't have the intention or the motivation to come here, you wouldn't be here. So you are here because of your intention, the motivation. So intention, motivation is very important. It is like the starting. So this intention, the motivation also makes our, action, thought, whatever, noble, virtue, good or negative, non-virtue, bad or whatever you say. So it, in other words, it makes, the cause and condition for happiness or the cause and condition for suffering. So dependent on the intention. For example, if you have an intention to steal, let's say, steal an apple. So that is, stealing, isn't it? So how to make the karma, the stealing karma, how to make that imprint of that karma is, first you need the intention to steal the apple. So that is very important. Without the intention to steal the apple, you will not steal the apple. So intention to steal the apple. So that is the first condition. Then there has to be the object, the apple to be stolen. If there's no apple to be stolen, then even if you have the intention, of course, there's nothing to steal. So you don't steal, you cannot steal. But let's say there's an apple to steal, so the object to steal. Then the action of stealing the apple, so that is the third, so you have to, the action of stealing the apple. If the apple is there, intention is to steal, but don't have the action of stealing, then you still not stolen the apple. So next is the action of stealing the apple. And then the fourth condition is you have to be successful in stealing the apple and have a mind of, yes, I accomplished my, goal of stealing the apple. Now I have stolen the apple. I rejoice in your, in my this action, completion of the action. Completion of the action of having stolen the apple. So that is the fourth condition. If you are caught while trying to steal the apple, then you haven't stolen the apple. You are caught. So then you haven't stolen the apple. So this way now, through with these four conditions, then you create the karma and the imprint of having stolen the apple. So the stolen apple, the karma is imprinted in your consciousness, the alaya. And then that gradually, when the conditions are ripened, then we'll experience that, the karma. Now, on the other hand, supposing if the apple is poisoned, and if somebody eat that apple, they will die because of the eating the poisoned apple. So now supposing there's a poisoned apple and your intention is to steal that apple so that nobody can eat that apple and get sick and die. So here your intention is different. Though the action is same, to steal the apple. But here stealing the apple is because the apple is poisoned, so you don't want anybody to die. So your action of stealing, but the intention is different. Here intention is virtue, not negative. So supposing the apple is there, the poison apple is there to be stolen, you perform the action of stealing, you are successful in stealing and you rejoice. Yes, I've stolen the apple, now nobody can eat this apple. So you create the karma of stealing the apple, but this stealing the apple karma is virtue because you protect the lives of others. So you can see, the intention is the most important here. So why you stole the apple? The intention. Though the action is the same, the intention is different. So intention is very important. So this way, the most noble or the virtuous mind, the intention is the mind of the bodhicitta. We say the bodhicitta mind, or bodhisattva mind, or the bodhicitta mind. Because bodhi means enlightened or enlightenment. Chitta means mind, it's a Sanskrit word. So the mind which aspires for enlightenment, for the benefit of all beings to be enlightened. So that is the enlightened mind. So when one has that kind of mind, it is limitless because beings are limitless. So working for the benefit of beings and not just for a limited result, but for a true limitless result, which is the total realization of the absolute truth, so that becomes the bodhicitta mind. And this is the limitless, the most noble intention. So here it is also, the bodhicitta is the mind which can arise the state of enlightenment, the state of absolute realization of our innate potential. Because that is limitless. As I said, the mind, the ability of the mind, the potential of the mind is limitless. So in order to realize that limitless potential, we need the limitless intention. We need that limitless, limitless energy, limitless, power, limitless, the limitless energy to propel, to realize that limitless potential. So the bodhicitta is that limitless energy. When you work for all beings, you are part of the being, isn't it? You are one of them. So you are included, naturally, you are part of that. But when you work for only oneself, then that is ignorance, because, not recognizing that everything is interdependent, not recognizing that your happiness is dependent on others' happiness dependent on you. So not recognizing this interdependent nature, then, for example, in this, forget all beings, even on this planet Earth, there are almost 8 billion human beings, only human beings. And out of that, you are one I here. The remaining all are you there. So when you think not of the yous there and only think of the individual one I there, it's very imbalanced, isn't it? Even through such common sense, it is, one can see. It's very difficult, for one to be happy when one doesn't consider the 8 billion humans' happiness. Then forget about others, just with this also. So that way, it is said that, if one is, if one wishes for true happiness, then this understanding of interdependent, is very important. The happiness and well-being of others is very important. Otherwise, it says, forget about, the enlightenment and, reaching the absolute, the happiness. But even in this world, these temporary happiness, so-called the worldly happiness, even that is not possible, if one is very self-centered and no mind of benefiting others or well-being of others. Even that is not possible, in this world. So if you want happiness just in this world also, in your temporary state of being, then the mind of well-being for others is very important. So this way, then for the enlightenment, then it says, of course, there's no question, that the mind of well-being for others, is very, very important. So this way, then in the practice of the bodhicitta, and then there are many, many practices, many levels of practice, where first you practice on, seeing others, seeing others in your shoe, seeing yourself in others' shoe, so like that. Then you really are neutral, you see, the reality. And then above that, then there is, exchanging oneself with others. Then above that is seeing others more important than oneself. So like that. So there are many methods to developing the mind of bodhicitta. So all different practices are there. So through such practice of, seeing others equal to oneself, equalizing, seeing others, Dajin Joa is exchanging oneself with others, then seeing others more precious than oneself. So like this, through these practice, and then gradually one develops the mind of bodhicitta, and through this can truly, realize the innate potential. And masters like Gesche Langri Thangpa and all, masters like the Atisha, Dipankara, then many other, great masters of the past, developed wisdom, realized their innate potential through these practices. And so the way they have practiced, they have put forth their such practice into words for us to also practice in such ways so that we can connect with our innate qualities and realize the absolute self. And so like this, then for example, the Gesche Langri Thangpa, he lived in the year 1123. And he was born in 1054 and lived till 1123. So around 69 years he lived. And he was a great master of the Kadamba lineage who practiced these practices. And he put forth these 8 verses. And these 8 verses are very, very precious. Even other great masters of the past trained in these and became very highly realized masters. Of course, there are many mind trainings, such as one of the most well-known is the 7-point mind training, which was put down by the great master Chekawa. It is said that when the great master Chekawa, when he was very young, almost like a child, he came across these teachings, the 8 verse of the Gesche Langri Thangpa, and then he was so moved, connected with them so much that he made this as one of his main practice, and then through this he attained very high realization and put down later the 7-point mind training, and then through that, then he, it really benefited countless beings. So here, and then these teachings are all about the relative, developing this relative bodhicitta, and then gradually the ultimate bodhicitta. So the mind of the body, so in developing that. So this way here the word training is used, but training in another way is, we already have this quality in us, the absolute quality, and to manifest that, so it is, we are gradually polishing away the dust that obscures us from recognizing, that obscures that quality, our absolute quality to manifest. So that is here the meaning of training. So in another word, you could say like purifying also. So polishing, purifying this ignorance, the dust which obscures this absolute potential to manifest, to realize. This quality is ever present within ourselves as our potential, as our quality, but temporarily obscured by ignorance. So because obscured by the ignorance, we are not able to recognize, we are not able to perform in its full. For example, the sun. Sun has the quality of light, warmth, but when it is obscured by the cloud, one cannot feel the heat, one cannot see the light. The thicker the cloud, the less the light, the cooler it is. The lighter the cloud, the more light comes through. The warmth also comes through. And when there is no cloud at all, then you can see the full sun, the light of the sun, the warmth of the sun. So when the cloud is there, it's not that the sun disappeared. It's not that the sun lost its light. It's not that the sun lost its warmth. The sun always have that light, the warmth is ever present. But because of that cloud, which is temporary, so same way, our ignorance is like that cloud, which clouds us from this inner quality, the limitless potential, the Buddha nature, from manifesting. Like the sun, which is within us, our nature, like the sun, the Buddha nature. So of course sun is an example. So like that, it is ever present, always there. ever present, but temporarily obscured by this cloud of ignorance. And that wisdom, that awareness, that loving kindness, compassion, not able to come through, manifest because of that obscuration. So the more the ignorance, the more, less it manifests. More craving, more aversion, more ignorance, more jealousy, more ego pride, so more confusion. The less the obscuration, then less ignorance, less craving, less aversion, less ego pride. And that way, then, certain degree of loving kindness, compassion, awareness manifests. And that way, then, we have our own, individual, different level this way. But our potential, our nature, like the sun, is ever present in all of us equally. Buddha Shakyamuni's nature and our nature is exactly the same, like the sun, exactly the same. Buddha's nature, potential is not better than us. We are not inferior than Buddha Shakyamuni. Equally same. The difference is Buddha realized that. So like no cloud, shine like the bright sun in its full potential. So same way, he realized that manifests in its full potential. We, the cloud at the moment, the obscuration, the ignorance is thicker, so therefore not able to recognize, realize, manifest that potential. So that's the difference. That's called sentient beings. So when we realize that, when we totally remove that obscuration, purify that obscuration, the cloud, the ignorance, then when that potential manifests completely, then we are one with the Buddha Shakyamuni, no difference. So this way, in our potential, in our nature, in our essence, no difference from Buddha Shakyamuni. We are exactly the same. The difference is recognizing and realizing that. So wanting to fully recognize this potential, fully and wanting to help all sentient beings to fully recognize that potential is the aspiration bodhicitta. And putting into practice by doing the practice of realizing that, for example, the training, the mind, so that is the action bodhicitta. So aspiration bodhicitta and action bodhicitta. So that is, for example, we did today meditation on the breath and connecting with our innate potential. So that is the so wanting to recognize that, realize that, so connecting with that. So that is action bodhicitta. So of course bodhicitta specific to benefit all sentient beings for enlightenment. So that is important. So like that. So this is bodhicitta, aspiration, and action bodhicitta. So we will do more tomorrow. So we end here. Then what I want you to do is, try to do like we did, breathing shamatha at home or anytime, anywhere, and try to connect with your inner qualities of the loving kindness, compassion, the wisdom, the awareness, like this, as I explained to you. So try to do that. Try to connect with that in some way, and then and recognize. These are the quality. These are our innate quality. These are the qualities of all beings. So try to connect with that. Okay. And maybe if you have time and if you want to discuss with each other, then you can have a discussion also on this. How can it be beneficial by connecting with these qualities, and by not recognizing them, then what is the downfall? So one can discuss like this amongst yourselves. Okay. And if you have any question, maybe you can write, and then we make a question box, and then tomorrow, I see if we can go through some question. If you have question, okay. So we do a short dedication. Benzer Sado Samaya Manu Balaya Benzer Sado Dinomba Ditra Didro Membawa Sudo Kayo Memba Subu Chayo Membawa Anurado Memba Sarva Siddhi Medrayaza Sarva Karma Sudzame Sirdam Shiriya Guru Hung Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tatha Gata Benzer Mamu Munza Benzer Bawa Ma Samaya Sado A